Hey there, I'm Charlotte for Colorful Teaching for You. Imagine being able to transport your children to any world, any adventure possible. Imagine that you can take them on a time traveling trip. How is that possible though? It's exciting. How is it possible? Reading. Now this may sound pretty, normal to you, but let me tell you, there are so many children who are running to video games or who's always wanting to watch television. But those images are created for our children. But what if we can get them in front of a book so that they can be so engaged that they don't have a need to constantly watch TV or play video games? Because we're going to teach them how to think, how to imagine, how to transport themselves into worlds that they've never thought possible. Because they realize that even if they're reading the same book as somebody else, they have a different perspective. What they're sharing is so unique to them. That's awesome. So let's do this. If you watched last week, we talked about one specific strategy, and that's called the Read Aloud, and we created 4 different activities based off of that. So today we're going to take that same thing, we're going to build off of that. And so if you didn't watch that, don't worry about it though. We're going to find a way to bridge that gap so that you don't have to worry about having to catch up. Okay? Now, read alouds, you might be thinking, this is just for elementary, but no, it's not just for elementary children. It's for high school too, because you could take this simple strategy and use it by just reading a passage of text to your students so that they get the most out of their reading, because some kids go home and they don't get it, or they just don't study. So you get to help them focus, really hyper-focus on one section. So let's do this. If you've done the read aloud, or once you've done the read aloud, the next step is the group piece. So with the group piece, what you're going to do is group your kids into different groups, and then you are going to give them some time to brainstorm the sequence of what you read to them. So in order. And once they've had time to brainstorm it, they get to present it to the class, because this way you've got kids learning in multiple times, right? And each of them are going to either have a portion missing, or they might add their own perspective, and you're building off of everyone's learning. And they're listening to it over and over and over again. So this is one way. And if you did the art piece last week, then while they're presenting it, they can hold up their art piece so that they can show a visual aspect to their learning. The second step is to do a class piece, or the class piece as I like to call it. And this is where you're doing the same thing, but instead of breaking them into groups, you're doing this as whole class instruction. So you as the instructor will be helping them, they'll be helping you, I guess, come up with the sequence. And then if they have their art piece again, have them take that sequence and walk around the room and actually hold up their art piece so that they are presenting the sequence. Again, you're having a visual aspect here, kinesthetic aspect, or listening aspect, reading aspect. There's so many different forms of learning right here. So if they didn't catch it the first time, they've caught it the next time. The next part of it is the creative piece. So what are you going to do with all this art piece? Do something more with it. What can you do? Now, if you haven't done the art piece, you're going to skip this step. But if you have, I would love for you to make a collage or a mural, if you will, and put it up on your bulletin board or another place that you might have, and give them this space, because not only is it going to help them when they see it, but you're going to help them feel like they're part of a community, something bigger than themselves, because it required their piece to put this together. So create a mural or a collage. That's the creative piece. The fourth step, or the fourth activity, is the prompting piece. So here we've done a lot of work with movement. We've done a lot, well, at least in the last video. Here we did a lot of creative work. We've done a lot of engaging work here. But what we want to do now is have them now write, because we want them to have another form of learning. And in this piece, what you're going to do is have them reflect on their learning, not just ask them, tell me about the book, because that's what we've done so far. We've summarized it. But look into something in more depth. Look at what do they feel, what's missing, what's the author trying to say, why do I feel this way? Do I agree? Do I not agree with this? So if you're looking for writing prompts, I've created, well, last night I created a huge package that's, the link will be associated with this video, and you can grab that, and it's got all of the writing prompts that you need. It's got the templates, it's got a breakdown for teachers so that you can actually plan it as a unit plan. And it tells you the different learning styles, the reading strategies that you're going to use for each question that you ask. So it's got everything. And if you're not sure if you want to get it, then I suggest that you grab the free resource, because it's pulled right out of the paid one. And it is a planning guide for teachers to really figure out how they're going to use each of the 8 steps. Okay, and that link will be associated with this video. It's going to be in my free resource library. Super fun. So let's recap really quickly. The first step is a group piece, so you're going to group them together. The second one is doing this as a class. The third is the creative piece, so you're going to create a mural or a collage, if you will. And the fourth step is the prompting, so the writing segment. Okay. Now, you can either use this video individually, or you can use this as a whole. And if you need a little reading thing for your kids, there's a reading book that I wrote that's going to help with social and emotional learning. So that is what we've talked about today. If you have any questions, do let me know. Otherwise, I will see you next week. We're going to be talking about how to engage our kids in reviewing work that we've taught using 3 different art pieces, or artistic exercises, if you will. So I will talk to you next week, same place, same time, 5:30 p.m. Talk to you later. Take care. Bye.